Partnerships. Abbit first worked with them as a student at William & Mary, and he went away for a little while and has now been back with Housing Partnerships for about a dozen years?
About 12 years.
12 years. So he's going to share a little bit about what they are and how they do what they do, and here you go.
All right. I have a video. I do not know if the sound, well, I don't think the sound may not carry because it doesn't seem to work with that. I may try it here in a minute, but I'll give you a little brief overview first, and then we'll try and see if that works. I can see if the speakers on my computer will get loud enough for you to actually be able to hear that. I've been with Housing Partnerships again for as the director for 12 years. I've been involved with them since the 90s, the mid-90s, and it's kind of been an exciting ride. We do a lot of wonderful things for the citizens of our community. Our goal is to help our neighbors in need, those who are less fortunate. The median age of our clients is 72, and average income is about $12,000 a year. So who we're really helping is people who have retired from like service industry, or they're, for the most part, they're widows who are continue to live here in town. They were able to get a house years ago, but to keep it up and to maintain it is becoming a challenge. So, again, we've done a lot of the food service workers who worked at William & Mary. I've seen people that served me when I was in college. I've gone in their homes and they're retired now. And when the roof leaks and they can't afford to make those repairs, that's when they call us. We're able to use volunteer labor to keep those costs down so that the costs are minimal compared to what they would be if we used contractors. Sort of along that Habitat for Humanity model, whereas their focus is to build new homes for first-time home buyers. They're working with young families who looking to get a leg up to be able to afford that first home. We're working with people on the other end of the spectrum, people who have been able to get that home and have lived there their whole lives, and now are just needing a little bit of help to maintain. What we do is not for cosmetic sake. What we do is strictly for the health and safety of the home. So typical repairs are replacing rotten bathroom floors. We find a lot of, we were having a discussion about this earlier, one of our first repairs was a rotting bathroom floor where the wax ring will leak around the toilet, and you don't always notice that right away, and if it goes, the next thing you know, the floors go, and it snowballs. So we do floors, we do a fair bit of leaking roofs, we do a lot of plumbing work, we do heating systems. Those, unfortunately, you have to bring in licensed contractors to make those repairs. But anything that would be a structural or safety issue, we're going to look at. We also look at accessibility issues. We kind of expanded more into that in the last 10 years or so, where if someone needs a handicap ramp, we're making sure that people have a safe path in and out of their home. We have done a few like walk-in or roll-in showers for people who just can't get in and use the bathroom facilities otherwise. We just did a ramp for, it was actually she's a single working mother, but she has a young child who is severely disabled and can't walk at all. So we did a ramp for him. And I have a feeling we're going to end up going back and putting in a roll-in shower, because as the boy gets bigger, there's no way this mother is going to be able to lift him up and get him in that bathtub, because he's getting to the size where I don't know how she does it as it is. So those are the projects that we're taking on. Beyond our general emergency repair program, we do a couple other things. We have a program, I think the last time I spoke here was 2007, to talk about pipe, providing indoor plumbing for everyone. We are, that is the LHT Leadership Historic Triangle class of 2007, started that program. We were actually working on homes with lacking indoor plumbing before that, but they helped raise money to assist and to fund that mission, and then we've taken on the pipe, the raising money specifically for that program. So we have, the last census had us at like 88 houses with no indoor plumbing. We've done, in this area alone, a little over 40. So they're still out there. We do tend to find more all the time because the census is self-reporting. So you have to, one, you have to be willing to fill out the long form for us to even know if you have no indoor plumbing. 88 number is probably underrepresenting the true figure that's out there. But I do know that we've done a little over 40 so far in the years that we've been working on that program. In that time period, we were asked, we do that program, and there's some state loan funds that pay a big bulk of that work that we match with local dollars to make it possible. But we were asked to expand our service area by the state. So now we actually serve, we were up to 27 counties, and I went back to the state and said, it's just too big, we can't handle that. So now we're down to 16 that I felt that we could reasonably accommodate. So we serve the 16 counties, everything this side of the York River, up to Richmond, Goochland, and Powhatan, down to the North Carolina border, and then out to the Eastern Shore. We used to serve the Eastern Shore, but that was killing us in commute time, so we don't do that anymore. So we do that there. Another program that you may have seen us in the paper, or WY Daily recently, we have a program. We went after federal funds to address a neighborhood where we've done a lot of emergency repairs. And the challenge we have is that there's never enough money to do everything we'd like to do with some of these houses. So when we can, if there's a community where we feel there's a grouping of need, we can go after federal funds to do a neighborhood-wide project. So we anticipate at least 4 phases, possibly 5 phases to do all of Carter Gardens. Our first phase, because that's a federal program, we don't actually do a lot of that work in-house. We do bid that out. We manage that for the county. But we have the first 2 houses went out to bid. The bid opening should be next week, and then the next 2 houses go out to bid next week, and it's going to start progressing from there. Those projects are kind of a sideline to our main mission, which is the emergency repair program. But if we feel there's a need and we can help fill it, we're going to do that. And the state pays us administrative fees for managing those, which subsidizes the emergency repair program. Our board of directors has come very strongly out and said that our main mission is our emergency home repair, and that everything has to support that. Any projects that we take on, and if it doesn't, it's not something that we're going to get involved with. We do a little bit of new production from time to time, and generally that's not for sale to first-time home buyers. Generally speaking, when we do that, that is for replacing a house that's gone beyond the point of repair. So we did one recently where we actually built it, and we're owning it and we're renting it back to the woman because she's 93 years old, and it didn't figure that selling her a house is the smartest move at this point. But we're renting it to her for extremely low rate, which I won't admit to right here, but needless to say, it won't pay the taxes, is what we're renting it to her for the rest of her life. We're doing that, and then when she no longer needs a house, we'll continue that with someone else. We have built some that we sold back to the clients. The last one we did, our cost was $15,000, what it cost us to build it. So, Colonial Heritage at the time actually pulled a lot of strings. They were a big partner of ours when we did that one, and that's a little under 1,200 square foot house. We had an incredible amount of donated materials and labor. The lady that was in it had 4 small grandchildren that she was taking care of, and we needed a 4-bedroom house. And we were able to get that done at a really, really cheap rate. So, we do those, but those are kind of the outliers. Yes?
How many volunteers do you have doing all this work?
On a given year, somewhere around 800, give or take. We have a lady that, her title was volunteer coordinator, but I gave her a promotion, so she's a program manager for a couple of our programs now. But she has done a phenomenal job of connecting us with like mission trip groups, and we have some corporate groups that come out. But we are a destination for West Virginia University. They do like alternative spring breaks from their I think it's the Wesley Foundation from West Virginia University. We've had groups come out of Chicago. We get the Peninsula Baptist Association every year. We get a couple hundred kids for a week. So those things kind of fill out. And then we have what we call our core volunteers that come out every Tuesday or Thursday, and some come out on other days. But we have a group of guys that are retired that keys to the office, and as a group they come together and they pair up and get in the vans and trucks and they go off, and I may not see them until the end of the day, and then they drop a bunch of receipts on my desk and here's what we spent. But those guys do more work than I would ever imagine was possible, and it's all volunteer, and they're the ones who make us successful. They really are they're phenomenal. We have one of the guys who works for us started, I think he's been with Housing Partnerships since like early 91, maybe 92, and he's, I think he'll be 80 this year, and he still comes out and works every day, and for what a little bit.
How many paid employees do you have?
We have 2 full-time employees. I'm one of the full-time employees. Brandy Waller, who was our volunteer coordinator, I gave her responsibility over our indoor plumbing program and some aspects of our emergency program while I'm doing the block grant and some other things. So we're kind of dividing it up. And then we have, at this point, we have 3 part-time gentlemen who work in the field who kind of help coordinate. One, basically his sole responsibility is to pull permits, so that he pulls our permits for everything and is responsible working with the county. And the other 2 really go out and work with the volunteer groups to make sure all the materials are on site. Robert, Mr. Taylor, the one I said, he works, every day. He works 4 days a week. Ron works 3 days a week, and then I've got one gentleman that works 1 day a week. So we're very part-time. I mean, we highly, highly rely on volunteer labor. We try and keep our operating costs as absolutely as low as humanly possible. And that's why, when we ask for donations, we really say, it's going right into the project. With 2 full-time people, we're not really high on formality. We're kind of a family organization. We do a lot of stuff together, but we get an incredible amount of work done, and we've been recognized at the state for the amount of work we do, and that's the reason why they ask us to do this indoor plumbing programs in a more regional capacity. So I'm very proud of the work that we've been able to do. Yes, sir.
I know that's probably a huge range, but do you have some figure you can throw out to us that says what the average indoor plumbing job is costing?
Average indoor plumbing job costs approximately $45,000.
Whoa. That's average.
That's average. Well, because you're not just fixing the plumbing, you've got to fix the house too, as part of the program. An alternative septic system, which is mostly what we're putting in, on a good day, I might get one for 12. I've got one that we got to put in now, which is going to run us about $30,000 just for the septic system.
Is that the bulk of the cost of septic?
Septic's a huge bulk of it, but then you've also got a lot of these houses need substantial repairs. When we can't repair it, we'll tear it down and rebuild it. Now those are 0% interest loans. Those aren't, that's not the same as our emergency program is pure grant. There's no strings attached. We just come out and do it. With those indoor plumbing programs, there are significant strings attached to it. But I think anyone in this room would be thrilled for a 0% interest loan, and we can adjust terms, and we make it work. We make sure it's affordable to people. And on that note, I will say that I've never, in all the years we've run it, we've never had to foreclose on anybody. So we've never foreclosed. Now I have had people in arrears, but what we do is we work it out with them. I mean, because we have that flexibility. Now I have people that will be paying on their loans until I am going to be moving into a nursing home myself, but they are making payments, and they will eventually pay it all back. So I think that's the key there. I wish I could. I'd love to show you the video, but I think without the sound, it would be too hard to hear back here. So
No, it's a fascinating discussion. We could have time for one more question if anybody else had one.
Where do you get all your money?
we are a United Way.
It's a great question.
We're funded by the United Way. We get $68,000 a year for the United Way. We used to be up to about 80, but they weren't able to their fundraising wasn't able to keep up with that. And a few years ago, they dropped every agency. It wasn't just us. We all took percentage cuts. So about $68,000 a year from them. We get money from Jamestown County. We get a little bit of money from York County, but we get a lot of administrative fees for managing programs for them. We do a whole lot of administrative work for York County. We get, there's a state program for the city of Williamsburg that pays us a grand total of, I think it's $870 some a year to address the city of Williamsburg. And then we have, we did a project like we're doing in Carver Gardens, we did it in Wales, which is right off of Ironbound, across from Pulmonary Field. We did that in the late 90s, and the loans on that, the money that comes in on these loans goes into a loan pool, and we've been able, we were authorized to take some of that money and use it for repair work. So the money that comes in on these loans, it's federal government money. It's owned by them, and then they can determine how to use it, and sometimes they reinvest it in similar programs. We're actually hoping that's what's going to happen with the Carver Gardens project. That's what I proposed to the federal government, because in York County we get $4,000 a year from the county, and that doesn't do a whole lot of work. We have corporate partners who give Langley Federal Credit Union is a very big partner of ours. And I would be remiss if I didn't say Chesapeake Bank, Town Bank, and Woodforest Bank also, but Langley's kind of at the top. And then we do annual fundraising drives. Our pipe concert raised just about $40,000 about 2 weeks ago. So, we do a lot of independent fundraising. We are actually looking to add one more part-time person. So we're looking for a part-time development person to help us raise funds, because it's always a need. And it's just cobbling all those many pieces together, and it's tough at times, but that's the world of nonprofits. You try and live within your means or below your means.
Yeah. Well, Abbit, we really appreciate you coming in.
So I appreciate it.
To honor your visit to us, we give you two things. First, we like to give you a certificate suitable for framing. I think it's great to actually replace any family photos.
There you go. My wife would love that. Thank you.
Absolutely. And then more importantly, we also donate a book to the library, which will have your name in it.
Oh, that's great.
So just kind of a tribute for speaking to us.
We really appreciate that.
And we need to get the media shot, of course. So if you could, we'll just smile real quick. All right. You look better than me, I promise.
Oh, shoot, you're dressier than I am.
And then we have one last responsibility for you. We do a 50-50 raffle.